WWE's main attraction, Brock Lesnar is a wrestler like no other. His most recent return saw him cheered as he confronted Roman Reigns at SummerSlam. Now, while it's not clear what WWE has planned for the Beast, there's a lot that can happen. However, the superstar is very private, as much fans would like to know about his personal life. This is Wrestling Up, and you're watching the wildest things that have been said about Brock Lesnar. Before we get into the rest of the video, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Hub and turn on all notifications to stay up to date with everything in the world of pro wrestling. Lesnar has come to achieve many great feats after his debut in WWE, but he didn't always have the best impression of the company. Apparently, Lesnar used to be quite miserable all the time despite his many successes, such as becoming the youngest WWE champion and winning King of the Ring in 2002. It was revealed in an episode of Ruthless Aggression documentary series that Lesnar was sick of WWE. He despised traveling 3 to 5 times a week. One of the former WWE heads of security, Jimmy Noonan, in an interview with Fox News revealed how Lesnar would behave backstage. Noonan also disclosed how Lesnar was not a fan of crowds. Noonan revealed one day Lesnar happened to be cranky because he had already been to the airport twice that day. The then WWE champion proceeded to threaten Noonan at the airport. Noonan's statement was, "We walk into the airport at the same time and he looks at me and goes, 'Noonan, if one fan comes up to me and asks for an autograph, I'm gonna punch you right in the face.' And that would be the beginning of my day." It was thanks to Jim Ross, the former voice of WWE and a backstage advisor and recruiter for the company, that Brock Lesnar was introduced to WWE Chairman Vince McMahon. They met for the first time in Minneapolis. Ross and Briscoe were trying to recruit Brock for a while. Since they were scouting him during the end of his senior year, they were banking on getting him to WWE. It was during a TV taping in Minneapolis in 2000 when Vince walked out to get into his position at broadcast that he saw Brock for the first time. He was talking to Briscoe and a few others. Vince literally did a double take and then turned around and marched himself over to introduce himself to Brock. At this time when Vince was walking over, Briscoe told Brock, "This is the big boss. Be on your best behavior." Truth be told, he had no idea who Vince McMahon was. On meeting Brock, Vince said, "My God, he's a Viking." Jim, on the other hand, said, "I was thinking more like a Hereford bull." The point was that both men were impressed with how athletic and fit Lesnar was and still is. Anyone who follows or is a fan of Lesnar's knows he's not a people person. Brock has always been the type to enjoy his personal space. Rip Rogers, who is one of Lesnar's trainers at OVW, recounts the story where Brock did not respond well to some friendly ribbing by Charles Wimberly. Rip describes Brock as a man's man. Brock was new to the wrestling world, which meant he did not know all the traditions. When wrestlers mess with you, it means they like you. Little did Brock know that Wimberly had only played an innocent prank on him. Charles had smarted off to Brock only to find himself having been backhanded. Brock did not hesitate even for a second before hitting Charles, who was then crying on the floor. The others in the gym were in shock and asked Brock what he was doing, to which Brock replied, "God damn it, he said something." Rip informed Brock that Charles was merely ribbing him. Brock, being clueless about wrestling norms, learned on that day that wrestlers kid with you when they like you, and that Charles had not actually intended to offend him. Brock has always been intimidating even backstage. At WrestleMania 19, he attempted a shooting star press on Kurt Angle, after which he hurt his neck. He started throwing things backstage to everyone's surprise. Brock would not let anyone near him, including medical personnel. Only Briscoe, the former WWE executive and talent scout, was able to calm him down. Briscoe got Brock to go to the hospital and stayed with him that night. As Brock was considerably heavier than when he used to do the shooting star, Briscoe advised against it. Brock had gone from 265 to 300, but he was afraid his fans would think less of him unless he pulled off such stunts. Brock's rage carried on even in the hospital because he couldn't believe that something had happened to him. The doctor attempted to talk to him, but Lesnar kept chanting, "I want to go." The results of an x-ray dictated that it would be best for him to spend the night. Thankfully, he received great medical care, which he was happy about. He also finally calmed down. These sedatives might have played a part in that. Over the course of his career, he has not only won multiple titles in WWE, Lesnar has also made the transition to MMA and won the UFC heavyweight title. For his childhood friend, Justin Gaikowski revealed, "I used to call him broccoli. When you're young, nobody likes to eat broccoli. I'd be like, hey broccoli, you've got bad taste." It's clear Lesnar does not have the best reputation for helping people, but that's not always been the case. WWE was forced to cancel Raw in 2015 due to a snowstorm. Lesnar decided that it was not fair for superstars and fans. Everything was closed on that occasion, but according to Corey Graves, Lesnar allegedly paid a significant amount of money to keep the bar wide open for everybody to make sure they made the best of a crappy situation. What a day. Not all bad things came from that snowstorm. Fun memories, fun times, but let's hope Raw doesn't get canceled ever again. In a wild story, Lesnar was wrestling Big Show in South Africa. That day, Show's stomach was acting up and Lesnar had a case of food poisoning. When Lesnar slammed Big Show, the Giant exploded, as Big Show recalled. "I hit the mat, Brock goes, 'Did you sh-?' I said, 'Yeah.' He goes, 'Haha, you sh-.' Then while I'm laying in the ring after the F5, he keeps stepping on my stomach like he's trying to get more to come out. He had dumped Paul Heyman in the ring too. That was the finish, and then I would usually get up, pull Paul up, throw Paul over my shoulder, and carry Paul out. However, he refused to carry Heyman out on that occasion, telling him what happened. 'What do you mean? You're not going to carry me to the back?' I shit myself. 'What?' 'I shit my pants.' 'I can't hear you. What?' 'I shit myself.' 'Oh, okay. Are you alright?' I'm the guy out the back of the arena with a hose, hosing off my pants." Heyman confirmed the story. Antonio Inoki is probably the most popular wrestling name in Japan. Inoki is even a WWE Hall of Famer. Lesnar revealed a story involving himself and Inoki which shows in which regard he held himself in those days. One of the traditions in New Japan was for newcomers to the promotion to get slapped by Inoki, the founder. Lesnar let officials know that was not going to happen. Another game I was ready for was the Inoki slap. I guess part of the initiation over Japan is that all the newcomers end up getting slapped by Inoki, who is a living legend over there. I let them know where I stood on that one right away. No one was going to slap me. Not Inoki, not anyone. They got the point. He was involved in New Japan and had an impressive run showing he was capable of wrestling outside WWE. When Lesnar was outside WWE, he had a lot more freedom. He used this to his advantage quite a lot apparently and took a few liberties with other fighters. Chuck O'Neal, former MMA fighter, was on Lesnar's team on The Ultimate Fighter 2010. He and a few other fighters were being picked up in a van from their house when their van was hit from behind by Lesnar in a truck. We had a van that came and picked us up at the house every day. We were rolling up to the training facility. We were just talking, and then we get slammed from behind. We looked behind us, and there was Brock in this huge white truck. He was just laughing, like the normal Lesnar laugh from TV. He was ramming into the van. We get out, we're like, "What are you doing?" We're thinking it's his truck. He's like, "Oh, I don't give a shit. It's Dana White's truck anyways." He just smashed into our van. Dana rented him a house and rented him a truck. We were like, what the hell just happened? We weren't really sure. Kurt Angle is an Olympic gold medalist and he made history in WWE. However, when he and Brock got acquainted and had to wrestle, they wanted to test each other. They were put on the spot by the locker room to see who would win in a wrestling match. It was 2003. I didn't want to wrestle Brock. I know he didn't want to wrestle me. But the rest of the guys put me on the spot and I was like, no, he couldn't beat me. But if he thinks he can, let's do this. It kept going back and forth, trying to get us to do this. Eventually, I just went up to Brock and said, hey, let's get this over with. And he said, no, man, I have slippers on. I said, that's okay, we'll go in our bare feet. He said, no, I'm not going to do it. So it didn't happen. However, it would not be long before the two really ended up wrestling. I didn't want to go with him, trust me, but the boys were doing their thing. Now Brock and I were enemies, so we did. The rumor is that I completely dominated him. That is not true. It was very close. I took Brock down a couple of times. He didn't take me down, but we went 15 minutes. 15 minutes, and there were only 2 takedowns. It was a pretty close battle. Did I win? If you want to give the aggressor the win, then I won. But it was really close. Brock impressed me because he was a college wrestler. There's nothing wrong with that. An NCAA champion is a world-class athlete, but there's a big difference between Olympic gold medal and NCAA champion. That's what I wanted to prove to Brock at the end of the day. Thank God I won, because if I didn't, I wouldn't have heard the end of it. Brock is a dominant wrestler in and out of the ring and has proved himself again and again. On one occasion, Lesnar destroyed Rey Mysterio and his son Dominic in 2018. However, while Rey and Dominic's situations were seemingly unenviable, former WWE diva Summer Rae ended up making a wild comment. WWE posted the video of Lesnar's attack on their Instagram, and below, Summer Rae commented that she was jealous that it was not her getting slammed by Brock. Terry Runnels was once a popular figure in WWE. However, one of her experiences with Brock was not the best. As she told The Sun, Brock did something that if it was in today's day and time, he showed his penis to me and called my name as I was walking past where he was in the dressing room and opened his towel so I could see his manly bits. I would have much rather him not be so disrespectful of a female that's been in this business for as long as I've been. He knew he was going to have a lot of power, that they were going to give him the strap, but at that point, I'd been in this business a long time. I have respect, and what he did was very, very wrong. From a respect standpoint, from a sexual harassment standpoint, it was wrong. Wade Barrett was once on Inside the Ropes talking about how he and other WWE stars were working out in Gold's Gym when Lesnar came in. However, throughout his time working out, he was being followed by a starstruck kid who was obviously in awe of Lesnar. When Brock went into the changing room, he told the other wrestlers that the kid was following him. While the kid should have known better, what followed probably traumatized him. Now, obviously in gyms, you get a lot of big bodybuilders and steroid guys and tough looking guys and stuff like that, but nobody has ever seen anything like Brock. People either knew him because he was in WWE, or they knew him because he was in UFC, or they were just looking at him like they had never seen a human being that looked like that before, but everyone was staring at him. Well, we didn't think much of it, and we go, "Hey Brock, how are you doing?" And we leave and head off to the showers, and he goes off and starts working out presumably. So we're finishing up in the changing rooms, and we're all putting our suits on and stuff, finishing doing up our shirts, and then all of a sudden, Brock walks into the changing room and he looks at us and goes, "This kid keeps following me around every time I go to a machine. He's next to me every time I go to a bench. He always comes and sits next to me. He's really pissing me off." We go, "Oh, okay. See you at the building, Brock, whatever." And then Brock walks past us and goes into the back room, the toilet area of the changing room. He goes around the corner. Anyways, we're finishing up, and then suddenly this nervous 16-year-old nerdy kid pops his head around the locker room. Sometimes we get that and people are excited because they've seen us on TV and we're wrestlers for WWE and they want to meet us. This kid did not care about us at all. It was like we were invisible. He's sneaking around, he's looking past us, and then suddenly he spots the toilet area, which was just around the corner from where we're at. This kid kind of stumbles past, walks around the corner, and disappears. A small part of me wanted to tell this kid, no, this isn't the day, but another part of my brain thought, the boy has to learn. So I didn't say anything, just kind of looked at Bray Wyatt and he kind of shrugged his shoulders. We all knew that something bad was about to happen. We were just waiting, we were frozen in time. Suddenly, all you hear is, "Are you trying to see my penis?" Followed by this terrified 16-year-old running out of there, through the door, never to be seen again. And these were the wildest things said about Brock Lesnar. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later.